Hey everyone, Sparks back with another Goddess Victory Nikke video, and today I am reviewing Tia and Naga. I'll talk about their skills, recommended equipment, squads, PvE and PvP test, and how you can use them if you only have one of them. Two may be better than one, but one is better than none, right? I thought about doing separate videos for the schoolgirls, but I feel like it just makes more sense to do them together, even though I will also discuss their usage on their own. So let's quickly talk about their skills first. Tia is a Burst 1 or Burst 0 Iron type defender with a rocket launcher. Her skill 1 activates when recovering cover. Say that 10 times fast. Not reviving it, so remember Biscuit does not work with her. She reduces her own burst cooldown by up to 13 seconds, and this stacks twice. It also increases all allies' attack damage by 32% for 10 seconds. This is a super strong ability that you will want to get to at least level 7 so you can smoothly go from burst to burst without any wait time. The attack damage effect also has a great spot in the damage formula that can make a big difference. Skill 2 has 2 effects, and it activates after landing 5 attacks and increases her cover's max HP by a percentage of her own max HP for 5 seconds, and taunts all enemies for 5 seconds. Luckily, the second effect activates when using her burst skill and recovers her cover's HP by a percentage of her max HP as well, and gives her a vampire effect for 10 seconds. This helps her not just die to her own taunt. However, if she is undergeared or you're trying to really push campaign, this will sometimes get her killed anyway. Tia's burst is a 40-second cooldown, which means you will need a second burst 1, but the even bigger reason is that you, like with Winter Rupee, she will re-enter burst stage 1, making her essentially a burst 0. If you don't have another burst 1, your burst will just fizzle. One huge upgrade to Tia is that there is no delay at all between your burst 1 and your next burst 1. Anyway, it generates a shield for all allies based off of a percentage of her max HP, so build all that HP gear as much as possible. She will also generate an even stronger shield with her for herself, which will help her survive taunting. For cubes, I would recommend an Onslaught cube for charge damage. Getting reload speed or charge speed is probably even better, but as a supporting unit, you will probably be using those better cubes on someone else. So she's a pretty low priority overall for overloading, but if you do overload her, I would target defense, charge speed, and ammo up. Attack and charge damage are fine too. You don't want something too specific like elemental damage. Okay, so before I show you the tests and talk squads and game modes, let's take a quick look at Naga. She is an electric burst 2 support with a shotgun. Her skill 1 activates after 12 normal attacks, so with ammo up effects, you can get this to go off before reloading. Recovers all allies' cover by up to 14%, so this is obviously really good with Tia. This is how we're going to trigger some of these abilities here. And when she gets a shield, she has core up damage by 85% for 10 seconds. This is crazy damage boost against the right enemies. Obviously a lot of bosses, but don't forget that a lot of random little raptors have cores too. The obvious downside is that she can't do this on her own, so she needs Tia. There are other units that can trigger this, but I'll get back to that later. Alright, so skill 2 activates after 5 normal attacks and affects the 2 allies with the highest attack damage. To cores, again gets boosted by 5 seconds. Simultaneously, she also heals 2 allies with the lowest HP by a percentage of her max HP. This is a great attack that goes off frequently and doesn't need any assistance. Naga is pretty even across her skills, but if I had to choose one, I would prioritize this one. Because giving an attack boost to your 2 highest attack allies and then also healing your 2 weakest allies is just very, very good. It's not going to be bad in any situation. Naga's burst is a 20-second cooldown and gives her pierce for 10 seconds. This allows her to hit multiple parts, go through cover, and most importantly, get multi-hits against cores and bodies. Then she boosts all allies' attack for 10 seconds and boosts it by twice as much again if she has a shield. So again, Tia is really good to pair with her because we're getting these effects from the shield. Overall, Naga is pretty cracked unit that will juice your damage more than pretty much any other unit against the right enemies. So for cubes, you want the reload speed or hit rate. Just use whichever one is not already being taken by your best DPS units. She's slightly higher priority for overload than her friend Tia, and you want attack, hit rate, and ammo. Hit rate in particular will help focus those core hits. Alright, please consider subscribing. I'm an official Nikke content creator, but most of my videos get hit with being inappropriate for ads, so any help from you with just subscribing really helps. Anyway, Tia and Naga are obviously a great pair, and they can be quite effective in campaign, interception, and raids. People have asked me if they are really better than Bunnies, and I have to say it's not that simple. It really depends on your situation. However, against bosses with cores, the schoolgirls are going to get you more damage. Otherwise, they are about the same. I might give a slight edge to Bunnies just because they give you a little bit more team building flexibility, and in my experience, Blanc gives you even more survivability. But really, we're splitting hairs, and the schoolgirls are extremely strong. Ideally, you want both, of course. A great squad I would recommend is Tia, Dorothy, Naga, Maxwell, and Alice. Make sure you always have Tia to the left of your other burst 1. This will be great for interception and campaign. You can also use them with Leader, who will trigger Tia's abilities more frequently. Scarlet, or whoever your strongest burst 3 is, can go on that squad with Modernia for general campaign stages. You will wipe out little guys with cores insanely fast. However, for bosses, I wouldn't recommend this. I'd probably go with the first team I suggested because you will be forced to burst with Modernia, and remember, her damage will go down against single targets, even though it's insane against multiple targets. I wouldn't recommend A2 being used with schoolgirls because you'll be really on the edge of keeping her in B mode with just the schoolgirls' amount of healing. Also, you want units that are good against cores, not parts. When raiding, you actually don't want to use the team that I mentioned before with Leader or Dorothy because they will serve you better on other teams. I've found fitting the schoolgirls into solo raid squads to actually be a bit awkward, but volume seems best. Alternatively, you could put Pepper on the squad if you don't have volume. So far, I've been using Alice and Maxwell with them, but if you have a built novel, you might want to use Alice with her instead. I've seen good results using Summer Anise and Scarlet with them. They can even be decent Snow White supports. Remember, with solo raid, there is never just one answer. You have a lot of different options to success. So, what if you only have Tia, or you only have Naga? They can still be useful. I think Naga is probably the better of the two. Without her partner, definitely target fights with cores. I have decent results with Dorothy, Naga, Alice, Modernia, and Maxwell. This is a very high damage team with a small amount of sustain. Just ignore trying to trigger her shield abilities. The only options other than Tia are going to be Folkwang, who in reality never actually activates it because the shield would go to your units with higher attack than Naga. Ether, who is a 40-second cooldown burst 1 SR, so just don't mess with that. And then Arya, who is your best option, but she only does her shield on burst, so then you can't burst with Naga. So I would just ignore those shield effects, and she can be pretty effective just on the other squad that I mentioned. So Tia is probably better left on the bench without Naga, honestly, but depending on what your account looks like, I would try something like Tia, Leader, Modernia, Scarlet, Senti. Honestly, the only one that really is important is Leader for the cover healing effect. Unlike Naga, Tia really needs her abilities to get triggered to be useful. You could use Coco, but then you'd be using Coco. So the other 3 units on your squad can be pretty much whatever you have available, just your 2 good DPS and then, a good supporting burst 2. The ones that I choose, just happen to be pretty good examples. So this could be a viable strat for newer accounts trying to push campaign if they have limited options to build teams with. In PvP, they are pretty mid. I managed to get some decent results, but they are definitely not top tier. Remember, Nikkes don't have cores, so you're missing a lot of the damage buffs. Plus, bursting with Tia can actually just be a liability that makes you take longer to get to your burst 3, and then you just get killed before you get there. I did play around with this, actually, trying some delayed burst shenanigans versus Noah and Scarlet teams with my own Noah and Scarlet team to hit with my Scarlet after the invincibility wore off. But this is super hard to tune because with Scarlet, Noah, and Tia already on your squad, taking up 3 spots, you don't have a lot of levers to adjust your burst timing, and even less if you're also using Naga. Plus, every opponent will have a slightly different timing, even if they're using Noah and Scarlet, because, you know, they have 3 other units to choose from. Or even if they're using the same units, then you have things like the Relic Quantum Cube to think about, plus good old RNG. So technically this can work, but it's very impractical to actually time properly. So to summarize, I highly recommend getting Tia and Naga if you can. They will help you in the current solo raid, campaign, and might even give you more value than someone like Red Hood in the future. You just have to look at your account and see if you are in more need of a top tier DPS or supporting units. Alright, hopefully you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching. Please hit that sub button if you like Nikke. And thank you for all of the channel members that support the channel directly, and I'll catch you guys on stream.